Glenn Libby. I'm chairman of the Mid-Coast Fishermen's Association, president of the Mid-Coast Fishermen's Co-op. I've been fishing for 33 years, I think it is now. Longer than that if you count digging clams.
In 1984 is when I bought my own boat, and I used that for hook fishing, hook commercial fishing, both in the tuna and the ground fishery.
My name is Mary Beth Tooley, and I work for the Small Pelagic Group, which is a combination of fishermen who fish for both herring and mackerel. And then I'm also an employee of the O'Hara Corporation in Rockford, Maine, who have varied interest in fishing, both here in New England and in the Bering Sea.
I tell everybody I've been a commercial fisherman since shortly after birth. I am 50 years old. I built my boat when I was 20, and I had probably 5 or 10 years experience before then. I used to lie about Little League games to be able to go fishing.
I'm a commercial fisherman. I fished for 47 years out of the port of Scituate. I have right now a dragger called the Barbara L. Peters. It's a 55-foot fiberglass boat, and I fish it with my son Andrew.
I've sea scalloped, I've dragged, I've sword fished, I've tuna fished, just about everything. I'm part owner in 2 75-foot fishing vessels. They're both draggers.
So then I moved to the Cape the summer after I graduated, and I got a job opening oysters, and I ran into a couple people that were clammers. They dug clams for a living, and they said, "Oh, you ought to hang out, experience the Cape in the fall." So that was 14 years ago. So I haven't left since.
Though they're from different ports and perspectives, these New England fishermen agree that the current fishery management system is hopelessly broken.
It's crazy. The whole thing has gone completely mad, and I oftentimes ask everybody, and stray dogs even, how did we get to this point? And it's craziness by degree.
There were times when we would catch 21 or 22,000 pounds of fish in a net. 1,800 pounds would be saleable, and the rest get blown over the side with a 4-inch deck hose. We'd call it a floater line. Sometimes it'd be 3 miles behind the boat. A line of dead fish on the surface. That's no longer acceptable.
People are sick and tired of having their days at sea cut and having pieces of the ocean shut down and being told they can only bring in half of what they catch or a third of what they catch and have to throw the rest over. And constantly facing the fear of losing access either in time or area.
Herring is the biggest derby fishery we have. Well, you just got a whole bunch of people just running out there trying to catch fish as fast as they can, as much as they can, and then landing it all within these very short time frames. So it's just, frantic in its pace and seems irrational to everyone who's doing it, and they don't see any other choice but to keep doing it.
The input system, with the complexity of the multiple stocks and the rebuilding targets, simply is never going to work. I've concluded that since 1990 to 19 years now of basically trying to make this input system work, it's been a complete failure.
I could see myself losing my boats 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road. And I didn't do anything wrong. I never had a fisheries violation. I follow the rules as close as I can to them. I hope I don't break them following them, but just not profitable anymore. We're losing money all the time.
You can't mandate inefficiency to an industry. That's not how you manage an industry.
After a point, when you see things decline and keep going downhill, see your family business start to deteriorate and go to the point of foreclosure, everything collapse, people's livelihoods, everything they own is in jeopardy, you decide to do something.
From Maine to Connecticut, fishermen are signing on to a new approach called catch shares. Under catch shares, fishermen are allocated a percentage of the annual catch limit for each stock. They have the flexibility to decide how and when to fish as long as they stay within their quota. In New England, fishermen are adopting a cooperative catch share system called sectors.
Sectors was, it may not be a perfect system, but it was so close to perfect compared to days at sea, and it was achievable.
A sector basically is a contractual agreement among a group of self-selecting fishermen. You sign a 1-year contractual commitment. That commitment takes the fish that you are allocated as an individual by the federal government and transfers that fish to the sector. The sector then sets up internal rules, and with a manager, a hired professional manager, then uses those rules to apportion the fish in amounts that make economic sense to the fishermen and to the marketplace.
You have an incentive to protect your part of the resource. The only way that you can get more fish is if the resource does well. So the incentive is in the right direction.
Under days at sea, you really can't go out and tow a 7-inch cod end because you've only got 39 days and you can't afford to lose any fish that you might be able to sell. Now, under a quota system, we proved that the 7-inch square was really selective. And you lost a few that you might have been able to market, but not a tremendous amount. But like I said, under days at sea, 39 days, you can't afford to lose any. Under a quota system, you could. You can catch him back next year when he's bigger and worth more.
Once you know what your quota is, then you can take that and do a number of things with it. First of all, you can make a decision. Is this quota enough with my boat so that I can get by? Maybe I don't want to fish it. Maybe I want to lease it out and hold on to it and lease it. Maybe I want to sell it. Now you can make a legitimate business plan like every other business is able to do, and you can look at long-range planning, which no fisherman can do today.
Rather than stop and think this out and say, hey, look, everybody needs a share of this to survive. Let's give them all a share, whatever it is. It might not be the share that you think you deserve, but it's a share. Then it allows you to trade your share. Now, if I have, say I have codfish and I don't catch codfish and I catch yellowtails and flounders, I could trade my codfish for your yellowtails and flounders. I'll go catch my yellowtail and flounder, let you catch my codfish. We're both happy, we both make some money off of it. To me, it's a better system.
And it certainly has worked other places. So we've been having, conversations with people in other parts of the world and other parts of the United States, and catch share systems are in place and working for fishermen and the fish as well, and so we need to give it a try.